So we got to talk about this Sony A9, right? Let's get into it. This is one of the best cameras that's ever been dropped by Sony, and it's the first mirrorless camera in the world to have a global shutter. A global shutter is when a camera has a sensor inside that reads out all the pixels simultaneously, rather than going like this, which most cameras do nowadays. It just gets it all, boom, like one. Having a global shutter with the A9 Mark III gets it simultaneously, so you will never get banding no matter how high you drive up that shutter speed. You can have 1/80,000, which is 10 times what my camera has now, and never get banding. It basically has an unlimited flash sync, so this is gonna help photographers all over the world. You're gonna be able to capture every single frame as it happens right in front of you, just as you see it live. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Kip Jackson, cinematographer here in upstate New York. I shoot on the FX6 Mark I. You gotta say Mark I nowadays because you don't know when a Mark II is gonna come out. So if you like filmmaking, tech, drones, travel, or just like watching somebody doing their own thing and just being passionate about it, my channel is for you. Every subscriber that, subscribes helps the channel out. So if you're here, and you're enjoying the whole setup I got here, subscribe. Let's talk about the A9 Mark III. Really, this camera was announced yesterday at a networking event in New York City that I should have went to, but I just was in New York City the other week for NAB, and I figured I needed a little bit of a break. But the reason I'm so excited about this camera is that it has a global shutter. This is an FX6 Mark I, right? Obviously. But what can this new A9 III sensor do that can later be trickled down to maybe the A7 series, maybe the FX line of cameras? Are we gonna get a camera with dynamic range and global shutter? Who knows? With that variable ND and an internal fan, like that is the complete package if I ever saw one. This sensor is groundbreaking, and Sony obviously is the lead manufacturer in sensor production when it comes to these 3 or 4 major camera companies out there. So it's just cool to see that this company is listening to their constituents, listening to the complaints of the masses, and trying to fix them rather methodically, and releasing firmware updates that we've been waiting for a long time for the Sony A7S III. It's just cool to see that dialogue happen between business and consumer. Not only does it show that Sony is listening to their customers, it shows that they are really ahead of the game by releasing this Unreal tech. What do I mean by Unreal tech? I mean pre-recording, and not just pre-recording when it comes to video. Like when I think pre-record, I usually think video, I usually think my audio devices. No, this is pre-recording when it comes to photography, letting you capture moments up to 1 second before they happen. It'll also have a speed booster right around here. This is a different camera, but it'll be around this area here. I don't know if you can see that there, boom, where you can now go from shooting 20 frames per second all the way up to 120 frames per second, basically like hitting that, nitrous like Fast and Furious. Shout out to people who like cars out there. Shooting at 1/80,000 is insane because like I said before, this camera only shoots 1/8,000. A lot of cameras on the market don't even hit near 20 or 30,000. So it's like light years ahead of the competition when it comes to that. Like say you're swinging a bat, tennis racket, you're keeping track of somebody's form, you're doing speed skating, anything that's moving very fast, you're not going to get weird wobble, you're not going to get a weird banding on it when you're flashing, you're not going to get anything weird on this image because of this global shutter. One of my biggest gripes with Sony cameras has been the LCD screens, right? Over time, obviously not this one, but the ones in the A7 III and other cameras that Sony's have released have had terrible LCDs when it comes to prosumers. Being a videographer and being someone that's always on the go, I don't necessarily will always want to bring with me these monitors. And Sony has listened to their consumers and the market when it comes to releasing earlier cameras this year. They continued this with this release, having an LCD that flips up, out, down. So pretty much the standard now, hopefully moving forward for Sony cameras. On the video side, it shoots at 4K 120 frames per second without a crop, which is pretty cool. And I'm just interested to see where this dynamic range gets into. Is it gonna keep the dynamic range? Because it is, industry standard when it comes to that. Just breaking into learning my colors with the Sony camera by getting the Atomos Ninja equipped with the dynamic range of the Sony. So I'm liking what I'm seeing from Sony. And I just hope that, all this energy, all this hype trickles down to the ecosystem that Sony has offered us. Who is this camera really for? I think that the Sony A9 Mark III is the new flagship, right? I think it's better than the A1, but it's for the photographer. It's for somebody who doesn't want to miss a beat, because obviously your clients don't want to hear, oh, I missed a shot. The family doesn't want to hear, oh, I missed a shot. Not a lot of people want to hear that. And having this pre-record option, having 1/80,000, having no banding and a global shutter, at a pretty decent price point when it comes to Sony high-end cameras is amazing. Can this camera rival other manufacturers like the Red Komodo who have global shutters already? Will a global shutter end up in an FX6 Mark II? You know, that's the second time I said that this video, but if it happens, awesome. If it doesn't, sad face. Overall, Sony answers a lot of questions with the release of this camera. However, more linger, like what is going to end up in the Alpha 1 Mark II, what is going to end up in a lot of these other future cameras. Who knows? Again, a lot of these wishes and wants are just me speculating. So it's your boy Kip Jackson. Start somewhere is the motto. I'm not wearing this shirt today. So if you guys watch any of my other videos, that's usually the motto that I have in my studio upstairs. We all start somewhere, however small, camera, GoPro, cell phone that you might have. Start from somewhere and build your way up. It's just cool to talk about gear, build a community. It's your boy Kip Jackson. Peace. Catch you guys in the next one.